I'll start where I start with all our home and away guests by asking you to recall your time playing here in Scotland. What were your fondest memories?
Well, I mean, just the opportunity to play at a club like Poloc in a park, amazing views, fantastic people, massive rivalry with the team just down the lane, Clydesdale. I loved the banter we used to have in those games. I loved Scotland. It was a fantastic season. I'd like to think I did quite well, and just great people, good competition, and all-round good fun.
What was it that prompted you to come to Scotland?
Well, I just thought it would be nice to try something different. I'd kept going to England season after season, and my agent suggested that Scotland was a nice change. Keith Young at Poloc was a big influence behind me coming there because I was keen to get more involved in coaching juniors, and Poloc have a fantastic junior cricket section where they're very mad keen to get the kids to play and improve, and that was a big decision for me that he was very eager to make a change, and I loved being part of that.
So you were called up for your national team in 2003 for the tour to Australia. Can you recall how it felt when you received that phone call?
Oh, it was probably the best feeling after actually getting my test cap. You know, I'd been on a few tours and just carried drinks, and I became a really good water boy for quite a while. So when I eventually got told that I was making my test debut, it was an amazing feeling. I mean, there's no greater feeling than representing your country at a sport that you love and have loved since you were a little boy.
The current Zimbabwe team are holding their own at the moment in the World Cup, but maybe lacking a killer instinct. What's been your assessment of their performance in their first 3 matches?
Well, you know, I think the biggest letdown, unfortunately, has been the catching and the death bowling. I mean, in every single game that we've bowled in the last 10, we've been hammered all around the ground, and it's really hurt us, especially against South Africa, Pakistan, and the UAE. You know, luckily the batters have played pretty well up until yesterday against Pakistan, where we were a little bit disappointing. But, you know, all in all, lots of people will say, at least Zimbabwe are competing. But, you know, I think your true cricket fans would like to see them winning now. Enough of just competing, and let's start winning.
The performances of Ireland have definitely put the Zimbabwe's position in the tournament under threat. That's obviously part of a wider conversation about the role of associate nations at the Cricket World Cup. What's your feeling on that?
Well, having done a season in Scotland and in Ireland, I think it's really sad that they are trying to cut the number of associate teams involved. I think both of them have shown why they deserve to be there and why they make the cricket more attractive and enjoyable for the fans. I think UAE and Afghanistan have done the same. So I really do hope that ICC will reconsider that and maybe find another way of making the tournament bigger but not as long. I think the biggest concern is the length of the tournament, but to stop these countries from playing when they've played so well and been so competitive would be a big shame.
What's your impression of Scotland at the World Cup? They came agonisingly close against Afghanistan. Is it a similar sort of feeling that you'd like to actually see them push on now and actually win a match?
Yeah, I think they've always lived in the shadows of Ireland and all the other sides, Holland and that. And the fact that they got to the World Cup, everyone says, oh, that's a fantastic achievement. And sometimes you worry that teams then think they've done enough just by getting there. And, you know, I watched the team play, and there's some players who were only young boys when I went to Scotland, and they've grown into fantastic cricketers. And just little things haven't gone their way, which has hurt them. Look, it was really sad that they didn't win the other day against Afghanistan. I really thought they had it in the bag. But sadly, run-outs and catches win matches, and that, yeah, it was really unfortunate.
Who in particular from the Scotland team has impressed you at this World Cup?
Well, Kyle Coetzer has played really well at the top of the order. He looks like a well-organised player with a great technique. I remember Richie Berrington from my time there and Majid Haq, and they're still really good players who have performed in pressure situations. The bowlers have done exceptionally well. I think the seamers have really held it together for Scotland. Davey and Wardlaw, they've both bowled really well. But yeah, the fielding has been the letdown, and even against New Zealand, if a few catches had gone to hand and they'd actually stuck, it could have been a different game.
Just finally, Gavin, thanks again for joining us. Do you have a message for the members at Poloc?
Well, yeah, I loved my time there, and I hope the guys are still training hard and that the junior section is still growing like it was when I was there. And hopefully they start to win some trophies. I see them, I catch up with their results on Twitter, etc. every now and then, and hopefully they continue to improve. It's really nice to see some of the young kids that I was coaching in the junior section now representing the first team. It's fantastic to see that they're growing in the club and prospering.